Hey friends, I'm Jeffy G, back in the studio, away from the real world. I've been getting these ads from Native Instruments for vocal colors. And while it's a synth sampler style instrument, it did cross my mind that more and more there's debate about whether you need a singer, traditional vocals, in your composition. And it's not just vocal colors that made me think about it, because vocal colors is not a vocal replacement like EmVoice One or Synthesizer V, but it does lead us in the direction for certain genres where we can second guess, do we need traditional verses and choruses and the things that we're used to in vocal composition? After thinking about it for a bit, I determined there are 4 categories. The first category are vocal sample instruments and synths. These don't necessarily replace the words and the lyrics of a vocalist, but they sound vocal-like. The second category is samples, which we've been doing for quite a while. And there's lots of samples available that are bits and pieces of female and male vocalists. The third category are tools like EmVoice and Synthesizer V, which are text-to-vocal solutions, and they are based on an AI or rules engine. And then the last category is full-blown generative vocals from AI.
Glaze from Native Instruments is a vocal instrument. It provides riffs and runs based on sampled vocals. It doesn't so much replace lyrics and words, but it provides pads and sounds that are similar to what you'd hear on a vocal track. If you have the time, take a look at the story of Sauce and Rochad, who are the engineers that developed this product. It comes with 148 presets and 200 different sounds. I'm in Logic playing with Glaze. Glaze is made up of 2 different sounding instruments, an A and a B. I'm going to turn off B and just focus on A. And I can browse a lot of the options. You'll see some of these are called riff. Some of them are called a run. Here's one that's just an O. Let's find another riff. You'll see the presets are a combination. Like all Play series instruments, you can pick the sounds, modify the effects. It has a built-in sequencer, and you can assign macros to control the sound. Vocal Colors is the latest vocal instrument from Native Instruments. It comes with over 19 gigabytes of eclectic, as it says here, double-track samples. It's more than just a sample player, though. It has synth capabilities built into it. You have parameters like formant, pan, vibrato, the dynamics, breath. These are all elements to make the sounds from Vocal Colors sound more vocal-like. It's largely based on something they refer to as the vocals engine, which is a hybrid creation. I think this example, more than any, demonstrates a composition that doesn't need a singer when you can generate vocal-like melodies and riffs and runs that sound like a vocalist, but there are, in fact, no words and no singer. Next one here is by Arturia, Augmented Voices. Spitfire Audio has quite a few to choose from too. Picking up this one, which is called Gaelic Voices. It's got some great sounds to it. Everything from Spitfire I find to be really good quality. Can play around with the detune. Another contact library that I own by a company called 8DO. Now this one's playing back samples through a sampled instrument, so I'm not dragging samples in to get these sounds, but it is picking up from roughly 100 or more phrases.
I see how sweet, oh, how I see, I'm found, how sweet, how oh, love, was love.
And you're hearing all of these played back in the same key, but you can change the key of all of these, of course. The idea here is you're starting with a grouping of related samples, in this case, a voice called Terry that sings gospel, and then you can tweak all of these parameters, the glide, the release, the attack, the speed, to make it sound more lifelike. So how does that get used in a song, especially if it's not articulated lyrics? How could I use that sound? So here I've got just the basics of a song that I started some time ago. It sounds like this. I've loaded in that Glaze instrument, and I'm just going to play along with this part. You know, we could drag samples in there if we want lyrics, or we could use one of the other instruments. Now, there's nothing new about using samples. You could have dragged samples in from any source. These are just a few that happen to be delivered by Apple.
Out of sight.
Na 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 na.
These samples, again, I'm importing them just in one key, but in Logic, I can just click on the Option key and the up and down arrow to lower them a semitone or a tone. And if I wanted to get serious, I could open this in Quick Sampler and chop up the parts of this sample to use it in a song.
Every day, every way.
You can find those samples yourself either from within Logic just by browsing and selecting vocals and listening to them. Or you can load your own samples from whatever source. In this case, I've got a bunch of untagged samples, so I could go into, say, Cinematic. The only trouble, I guess, with samples is the fear that because they're readily available on the internet, other people may already be using them in a song. But you can sufficiently alter that sample to make it your own with still using the articulation and the sound of the sample. An example of that third category of synthesized voices, I'm using EmVoice One in here, and I created this song quite some time ago. And you can see with this, I can type in the words that I want EmVoice to sing, and it's reading these MIDI notes. That's what you're seeing represented here. And you could play these in with a keyboard, or you could record them on a separate track, create your melody, drag it in here, and then add the lyrics. And just like a vocalist, once that track has been created, you can add delay and reverb or process those vocals just like you would a real singer. Here's another example of a fairly complicated song that I used completely artificial voices for, no singer. Just gives you an idea of what it's like to work with EmVoice and have it synthesize the vocals for you.
I see an image of a better world.
But I think there's something more going on in the industry in this shift away from traditional vocalists.
So you're a few seconds into this very popular song, and so far, there really aren't any lyrics. This is like a rhythmic rap part. It sounds really cool, don't get me wrong, and I love what Beyonce does vocally. But this is not your traditional intro, verse, chorus lyrics of a singer-songwriter.
You won't break my soul. You won't break my soul. You won't break my.
She repeats, "You won't break my soul," over and over again. And this is common in pop music. If you took, the top 100 or 50 songs for the last couple of years, you find that there is one phrase in the song that's just repeated over and over again. I've typed in a description, rock anthem about the steel industry and drinking beer.
Steel mills are humming, pouring out molten heat. The summer industry lives on each street. Poor workers working hard for the product they create. The smoke of the furnaces, the taste of beer we celebrate.
Disco dance song about dressing fancy, wearing cool shoes, and staying out late at the club.
Gonna dress up, put on my finest clothes. Put on my shoes, gonna make me look like a rose. Don't have to worry, just gonna stay up late. Gonna hit the dance floor, gonna make it great.
In a cafe of workers. Fun.
We all seek a future somewhere to belong. But the odds are against us when the jobs are gone. We take what we can get in our hollow. We drink coffee and cave for work we know.
This will create a text-to-song singer for you. You have to pick from a library of songs. Lots of Christmas songs there.
La 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 la.
How about this one, Move Your Body?
La 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 la. La 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 la.
Let's choose that one. Click on Next. Now you get to choose the voice.
La 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 la. Noni noni noni.
La 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 la.
Let's go with Ed. Unfortunately, you cannot paste lyrics in here, so you have to type them in. Well, that's as far as you can go. So I don't want to let you put in a limited number of lyrics at this stage. But the idea is that it'll take these lyrics and convert them into music. All right, let's see what we have here. This was Ed singing Move Your Body.
Best if you move smooth, wouldn't
full-blown AI to be effective in replacing singers, what we need is text to song. And so far, there isn't a lot of services out there that do it. There's some experimental sites, and I'll go over a few. But there's some components along the way. You could compose a song, you could build a beat, you could have a chord progression. And if you were short of a melody or you couldn't come up with a melody, there are tools that we've been using for quite a few years that will automatically generate a melody. They're partly AI, but really they're just following the rules of music theory. So now what are you missing for the singer? You've got a melody to follow, but you don't have lyrics. Well, it's easy to have AI generate lyrics for you. You can go to ChatGPT, put in the prompts that describe what kind of lyrics you're looking for, and it will do a mediocre job of generating lyrics for you, and you could tweak those lyrics. And then there are plenty of text-to-speech type services that are taking advantage of vocal cloning. You could paste in your lyrics and they would come out with somebody else's voice or a clone of your own voice. But those are text to speech. The speech isn't singing necessarily. What we're really looking for here is text to song. I've demonstrated earlier in this video that the fastest way to get there right now is to use these synthesizers that will take your lyrics and a melody that you've created in MIDI form and apply those lyrics. And it takes some work because it breaks up your lyrics by syllables, and there's some editing involved to get it to sound like a vocalist. Now, to get serious about using AI to replace singers, one strategy is to collect all of the samples of a particular singer. So let's say you want to voice clone Adele or Paul McCartney. You input all of their singing into a data set, and that data set is broken up into vowels and articulations and phonics. Then new lyrics and a melody can be applied using those phonics. And that's what we're seeing show up periodically when we see a clone of a Paul McCartney song or a clone of a Taylor Swift song. Those AI tools are not readily available yet for the consumer. So I would conclude that full-blown AI to replace a singer isn't there yet. Music listeners have a very short attention span. It's been getting shorter. And we could blame this on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube, but essentially, no one's really paying close attention to the lyrics in a song. It's almost like there are two types of music out there. There's pop music where the lyrics don't matter that much anymore. And there's singer-songwriter music where people are still seeking and listening to the lyrics. For example, ambient music, it's rare that people listen to lyrics or even need a singer with stylized vocals. Also in pop and dance music, it can be very simple and still be very popular. Now it's hard to predict, is this just a temporary thing, or will there be a renaissance of the singer-songwriter and a focus back on the lyrics and the meanings behind a song? I don't really think there is. I think we're heading towards a more disposable society that doesn't dive deep into music. Vocal substitution software might be more popular, might be the way to go.